All rise. O ye, O ye, O ye. Silence is commanded by this honorable commission. All those having business, draw near. Please be seated.
Thank you and good morning to everyone. Silence is commanded, so let me ask everyone now, check your cell phones, please. All right, because if you don't, the deputy's gonna go to the bar bread and breakfast with them, and it'll be trouble for you getting them back. All right. I've asked you to be seated at this time until our inspiration is an invocation is get ready for prayer. All right, when they ask for prayer at the end of the inspiration, then I'm gonna ask everybody to stand again. I'm so glad to have my good friends from the Temple here with us today, and we look forward to every year. There are 3 times a year I look forward to them coming here once and me going over there twice. All right, because I go in and have service with them, and we've become great friends to know them. Now, Commissioner Adams is, let me make sure, let me do some house cleaning thing. Commissioner Adams is on. PIO. Commissioner Adams, oh, there you go. All right, you in with us?
Yes, sir.
All right, I wanted to make sure now before we get started. So now at this time, let me call to the podium my friends from the Temple, and you notice I didn't try to say that again. All right, so you can introduce and talk, and then you can carry on how you need for us to do.
Yes. Ready?
Yeah.
Yes. Hari Om Dyo Santirantariksagum Shanti Prithvi Santirapah Santirokadayah Shanti Vanaspatayah Shantirvisve Devaः Shantirbrahma Shanti Sarvagu Shanti Shantireva Shanti Shama Shantiredi Jato yatah samihase tatonno abhayam kuru Shanna kuru prajabhyo bhayanna pasubhyah Viswani deva savirta duritani parasuva Jadbadrantanna asuva Om Santi 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 Susantir Bhavatu Sarvarishta Santir Bhavatu.
I will be translating the prayer that they just recited. Om. May we all be protected. May we all be nourished. May we work together with great energy. May our intellect be sharpened. May our study be effective. Let there be no animosity amongst us. Om. Peace in me, peace in nature, peace in divine forces. Unto heaven be peace, unto the sky and the earth be peace. Peace be unto the water, unto the herbs and trees be peace. Unto all the gods be peace, unto Brahma and unto all be peace. And may we realize that peace, Om, peace, 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 Om. Thank you.
Good morning, Chairman Ellis and all the other commissioners. Thank you so much for this opportunity, for allowing our BAPS Savannah chapter for coming in here to speak in front of you all. We are so honored to be here today. As you might know, tomorrow is our Hindi New Year, and we offer our best wishes to everybody in this room. Through our Hindu organization, BAPS, and its lineage of spiritual leaders, we aim to perceive peace through its mandirs and teachings in more than 3,850 centers across the nation, or worldwide. Its strength lies in the purity of its nature and purpose. Its universal work has received many national and international awards and affiliation with the United Nations. Out of his compassion for humanity, our late and prior leader, Pramukh Swami Maharaj, tirelessly visited over 17,000 villages, towns, cities, in over 50 nations. Pramukh Swami Maharaj connected with all. He was a very unique individual, regardless of anyone's faith, religion, nationality, caste, demographics, or economic status. He was able to connect with anyone and anybody, whether it be a toddler or an elder. Having met with leaders and public servants, one shared message was that the vertical depth is much more important than horizontal spread, and that was his mission, and that was one of the reasons why he built mandirs. He wanted to use them as a center point for communities to gather and for people to flourish. In addition to the world-renowned Swaminarayan Akshardham complexes in New Delhi and Gandhinagar, India, and right here in the United States in Robbinsville, New Jersey, he has gifted the world with over 1,200 mandirs, with 133 being right here in North America. Recently in the UAE, in the Middle East, he built our first Hindu mandir was built, which, as you know, is a very big milestone. When our current spiritual leader, His Divine Holiness, Mahant Swami Maharaj, came to North America in 2017, he made an unforgettable, lasting, positive impact on everyone, devotees and non-devotees alike. On September 5th, 2017, His Divine Holiness, Mahant Swami Maharaj, met with former President Barack Obama in Washington, D.C. This meeting was arranged as a part of a message to foster public dialogue on service and the importance of unity in our own communities and in our nation. One thing Mahant Swami Maharaj greatly values is unity. Unity is the building blocks of society, including our family, especially our families. Our local mandir here in Savannah just does that. We are actually located in District 6 of the county. We constructed and opened our mandir in 2004 with an average weekly attendance of 400 people. Phase 3 of our mandir was currently completed as well with the opening of the gymnasium, which our youth currently utilize and enjoy it so much. And this is actually a very big year for us as well because we will be celebrating our 20th anniversary. So all of you here are invited to come and join our festivities on November 17th. While peace can be seen in our lives, it takes effort to sustain this peace, as you all know. And to address this, BAPS Charities, a 501c3 nonprofit organization of BAPS, was created. So BAPS Charities harnesses the efforts and the collective spirit of volunteers around the world to serve individuals, families, and communities in 5 key areas. The first being community empowerment, educational services, environmental protection and preservation, health and wellness, and humanitarian relief. A few annual events that occur are walkathons with national beneficiaries and our health fairs. At a local level, for the past 4 years, we have had a 5K walkathon at Forsyth Park. In the past, we have supported great charities such as the Nature Conservancy and the Susan B. Komen Foundation. Currently, our walkathon works with the Ronald McDonald House, which we've enjoyed so much and hope that we can continue that relationship. We hope to continue these events in our local community. And with that, I would like to turn it over to Mithil Patel, our local outreach coordinator, who would like to share a few thoughts. Once again, I want to thank all of you for having us here this morning and giving us the opportunity to speak. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Patel, for sharing about our organization, BAPS Charities. As she had mentioned briefly, we're celebrating our 50th anniversary. So the organization started with a small temple in Flushing in 1974 and has grown to more than 133 locations today. So we're celebrating that 50 years of service, highlighting BAPS's growth and dedication to serving local communities and national causes. We're celebrating 50 years of Indian culture and tradition, sharing how BAPS has preserved and passed on Hindu culture and traditions through generations in America. We're celebrating 50 years of faith, demonstrating the role of BAPS in nurturing faith across diverse age groups and backgrounds. We're also celebrating 50 years of values, illustrating how BAPS instills core human values in followers, contributing to the development as exemplary citizens. We're also celebrating 50 years of inspiration, recognizing the pivotal role of our esteemed leaders, Guru Hari Pramukh Swami Maharaj and Guru Hari Mahan Swami Maharaj, whose vision, tireless efforts, and motivations have been instrumental in this journey. As you all know, Diwali approaches us just tomorrow. We invite you all, as well as everybody in the audience, we invite you to the celebration. Commissioner Abbott has there before, he can vouch for us. If you guys need any personal reference, it's a great event. Yeah, we invite you to the celebration that showcases the vibrant essence of our Hindu festival while promoting the values of unity, community, and service. Experience the beauty of India right here. So our volunteers have been working maybe the past month trying to transform that site into Little India. So we encourage everybody to come out and experience a little bit of India at our festival. Stroll through the dazzling lights and intricate Rangoli art, savor traditional sweets and delicacies, and enjoy an event designed for the whole family. And as the night falls, the sky will come alive with spectacular display of colorful fireworks. We anticipate attendees from across the Savannah area to join the festivities. We would love to see you all at this unique event that intertwines cultural celebrations with the spirit of togetherness. So please, we invite everybody here to come to our event taking place tomorrow. And if you need further information, Chairman has the information as well. So with that, we'd like to end the prayer today with the shlok. Om Shahanavatu Shanobunaktu Sareveryam Garvavahe Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahe Om Shantihi Shantihi Shantihi. To just translate that, from ignorance, lead me to truth. From darkness, lead me to light. From death, lead me to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. Thank you.
Commissioner Lockett.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You all may be seated.
Mr. Chairman?
Hold on just a minute. Hold on. I'm gonna get you. Don't worry, I'm not gonna leave you out. First of all, let me thank all of you. What I want to thank you for is the day we showed up at Bradley Point, where the flooding was. They showed up and they didn't ask anybody what was needed. They just brought. All right, and they were able to help us with all those residents in Bradley Point. We showed up at the fire station. We were trying to get what trucks was going to be there and what trucks going to do and what we could and could not do. And they just showed up and started doing. And I just want to thank you all for being a part of that and for being a part of those who were in distress, because you showed up with trucks that could go through the water while the rest of us were trying to figure out how we going to get through the water. All right, that's just how high the water was. And to get those supplies and things that you brought to those people who needed it in that community was overwhelming for me. I wanted to thank you first for that, all right? Now I'm gonna turn it over to your commissioner. And don't worry, I'll be there tomorrow, but I'm looking for my other 2 dates that I'm told to be.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I just want to say, first of all, to piggyback on what the chairman said, in both of the hurricanes, if it wasn't Matul, it was Neil, or it was Malik who was calling saying, what can we do? What can we do to help? And so I want to thank you all because it's really just a beacon of light in our community, especially great neighbors. Shout out to the 6th District. But the other part I wanted to say was just, again, Diwali coming up. Happy Diwali. Look forward to enjoying the time with you all. And I just want to share with everybody, every time myself and my family go to that temple, they're so welcoming. I've learned so much. My family has learned so much about your culture. So thank you for sharing your culture with us. Sometimes we get in these silos and we don't get to learn about each other, and it's an honor to get to learn about y'all. And I want to recommend everybody to try the paneer if you come tomorrow.
All right? Thank you so much. We appreciate that. All right. All right, let us have a roll call.
Chester A. Ellis, Chairman.
Present.
Helen L. Stone, District 1, Vice Chairman.
Present.
Dean Kicklighter, District 7, Chairman Pro Tem.
Here.
Melinda Scott Hodge, District 2.
Present.
Bobby Lockett, District 3.
Here.
Tanya Milton, District 5.
Present.
Aaron Whiteley, District 6.
Here.
And Kenneth A. Adams, District 8.
Present.
Thank you.
And District 4, Commissioner Farrell, here.
They left him off? Okay. But we got it on the record now, 'cause, you have to get accounted for being present now. And one thing for, at this time, let me call on Commissioner Milton, who shall introduce our youth commissioners who are with us today.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's with excitement that I get to introduce the two young ladies who are with us today from the Youth Commission. We have Melissa Osborne, who's an executive member of the Youth Commission and a senior at Woodville Tompkins, and very interested in studying nursing. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I'm very interested in studying nursing. At my program at Woodville Tompkins, we have a nursing program, and ever since then, I've just been really interested in it. I went to clinicals and I saw everything that they do, and so, yeah.
And I asked her if she was afraid of giving a shot, and she said no.
No.
And then we have Ms. Kushi Patel. She is a senior at Savannah Christian, and she's interested in criminal psychology. Now, that was an interesting topic, so I asked her to explain a little bit of that.
Yes, ma'am. Criminal psychology is where you get to talk with criminals and try to figure out why they're doing what they're doing and try to get more information out of them so you can stop them from.
So we just invite you to participate, pay attention, learn, listen, and ask questions if you need to.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Glad to have you here with us.
And let me welcome you all to these proceedings, and we want you to be an active participant. So if you have any comments or questions or about anything that's on the agenda while you're here, all right, then just raise your hand, and if I'm distracted, somebody will see it, and we make sure that you get in, all right? Again, welcome for being here. At this time, let me call to the podium the Grand Marshal of the Veteran Day Parade, if you will come up. Mike? Yeah, there you go. We're gonna do your proclamation first, and then Commissioner Whiteley, who's the veteran on this panel, will do the others, all right? But this is the County of Chatham, Georgia proclamation. Whereas to be named the Grand Marshal of the Veterans Day Parade in Savannah is a special honor because November 11th is when America paused to commemorate those who have served in uniform to defend our nation and preserve its liberty. We now salute Sergeant Mike Bradley as the 2024 Veterans Day Parade Grand Marshal, and whereas Mike, who attended Blessed Sacrament School, Benedictine Military School, and graduated from Savannah High School, is from a patriotic family and military serving family, and encouraged with his two brothers who serve in the military. Now, therefore, I, Chester Ellis, on behalf of the Chatham County Board of Commissioners, do hereby salute Mike Bradley, Brady, I'm sorry, you're right, Brady, as Parade Grand Marshal of the 2024 Veterans Day Parade, and extend sincere appreciation for the dedication and the service you provided to your community, the state, and your nation in and out of uniform, and share this proud moment with his wife, Patty, and family members. Are they here?
They're not here, no.
Okay, all right. In witness whereof, I have hereto set my hand and caused the seal of Chatham County, Georgia, to be affixed this first day of November 2024. Now, the mic is yours for comments if you want to make them.
I just want to thank everyone here, especially Joe Higgins, our chairman, for this honor that was given to me this year. For the last 13 years, I spent at the end of the parade putting this thing on, and now I get to see what the front of it looks like at last. But it's a great honor, and I really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing all of y'all here. It's going to be, for the last 13 years, I put on really great parades, but I think this year is going to be the greatest of all. So I look forward to seeing all of y'all here, and I appreciate everything that y'all do for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank
Yes,
you
sir.
for all that you do and all that. Stay right there. Don't move. All right. Let me ask all, no, come back. Stay, Mike, stay there. Stay there. Let me ask the rest of them, Joe, if you all will come and join him. Everybody who needs to come up. All right. And let me turn it over to Commissioner Whiteley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a great moment for me, boy. I tell you, one of the most selfless people in this county, and we appreciate you. Whereas, to be named Veteran of the Year for Chatham County is a distinguished honor bestowed by the entire membership of the Veterans Council of Chatham County, which is comprised of 30 military veterans organizations, and is worthy of recognition on Veterans Day, November 11th, when America pauses to commemorate all those who have served in military uniform to defend our nation and preserve its liberty. We now salute Edward Gazzara, Staff Sergeant, U.S. Marine Corps. Whereas Edward Gazzara enlisted in the United States Marine Corps in March of 1985, and his first duty station was with the 4th Combat Engineer Battalion, Baltimore, Maryland. And in October 1990, Corporal Gazzara re-enlisted in the Marine Corps and reported to 3rd Maintenance Battalion, 3rd FSSG, Okinawa, Japan. And while assigned there, he was awarded the Meritorious Unit Commendation, Sea Service Deployment Ribbon, Navy Unit Commendation, and Navy Achievement Medal in support of the Gulf War. In 1992, Corporal Gazzara was assigned to 2nd Combat Engineer Battalion, 2nd, is that Maritime Division, M-A-R?
Marine Division.
Marine Division, okay. So 2nd Marine Division, excuse me. And while there, he earned MOS's 1141 Electrician and 1142 Electrical Equipment Repair Specialist. In July of 1994, Sergeant Gazzara was assigned to 3rd Maintenance Battalion as a 1161 refrigeration mechanic. He soon deployed for Operation Team Spirit in South Korea and was awarded his 3rd Certificate of Commendation. He returned to his unit and was assigned as platoon sergeant until he deployed to a multinational training exercise in Hokkaido, Japan. In January 1997, Sergeant Gazzara deployed with CSSD 34 for exercise Tandem Thrust 97, Australia. At this time, Sergeant Gazzara was awarded his 4th Certificate of Commendation. During his tenure with this command, he was awarded the Sea Service Deployment Ribbon, X3, and his 2nd Navy Achievement Medal. Whereas, in May of 1997, Sergeant Gazzara received orders to attend Drill Instructor School, Marine Corps Recruit Depot in Parris Island, South Carolina. Nearing the end of the training cycle, weeks before graduation, he was teaching how to navigate a combat ropes course when the buckle on the rope snapped as he reached the top of the 26-foot climb. Sergeant Gazzara suffered a L3 burst fracture, which left him paralyzed from the chest down. He was medevaced to the Augusta VA hospital to undergo a 13-hour surgery to repair his spine. He held true to his Marine Corps spirit and refused to acknowledge that he may be paralyzed for life. He fought long and hard alongside his therapist and his wife, Lori, and in late October, he took his first steps and never looked back. Whereas, in November 1997, Sergeant Gazzara received a medical transfer to the Marine Corps Detachment Aberdeen Proving Ground in Maryland, where he continued therapy at Walter Reed and worked as the IT administrator for the detachment. He was promoted to Staff Sergeant in March of 1999 and continued to serve the Marine Corps in the highest traditions possible. Staff Sergeant Gazzara received an honorable discharge under medical conditions in April of 2000. Whereas, since moving to Savannah in 2013, Sergeant Gazzara got involved with an adaptive golf program in South Carolina. In April of 2016, he started the first adaptive golf clinic in Savannah for veterans with disabilities or limitations to show them that their disability does not define who they are. In 2022, he turned the adaptive golf clinic over to a friend as he was having his 13th spinal surgery and the second most major one. He was fused from T2 to his pelvis, which locked him from rotating. However, he never gives up. Whereas, Ed was selected Commandant of the Savannah Marine Corps League, Detachment 564 in 2021. After 1 year as Commandant, Ed suggested that the unit's name be changed to honor their predecessors of the Korean War to Dog Company 564, which was adopted in 2022. In 2024, Ed took the position Paymaster Adjutant for the Department of Georgia Marine Corps League. Ed has been an active member of the American Legion Post 135 since 2019. Now, therefore, I, Aaron Whiteley, on behalf of Chairman Chester Ellis, on behalf of the Chatham County Board of Commissioners, do hereby salute Edward Gazzara as Veteran of the Year 2024-2025 and extend our commendations for his dedication and commitment to his community, state, and nation, as well as the veterans and citizens of Chatham County, and share this proud moment with his wife, Lori, and their family.
The mic is yours.
That's a lot. Thank you. I don't look at it. I don't look at my past. I only look at the future, so thank you. It's a great honor being selected as Veteran of the Year. Helping veterans are my life. I think my second biggest thing to help is children. I made a promise to God when I had my accident, you give me a chance to walk, and I'll dedicate my life to helping others. And that's what I've tried to do and follow in those steps. So thank you. Thank you, Chairman Higgins, and I will do the council and the veterans of this county as well as I can.
All right.
Thank you.
You already do so much, Ed.
Exactly.
Well, we're not done.
We're not done yet.
Wow.
Ms. Higgins, you want to fill us in on some details?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, thank you guys for having us here yet again. We do have our parade coming up on November the 11th at 10:15 in the morning. We do hope that each and every one of you will join us in the parade, walking through the streets. It's an honor to do that every year. For those of you that haven't joined us, Tuesday of this week, we're going to put some flags down Broughton Street. Those are donated casket flags of veterans that adorn that street for a week over Veterans Day. So if you haven't seen it, you need to come check that out. It's beautiful. And I also just want to say that for every one of me that is able to stand up here and just talk, there are 3 times as many people that are behind me, behind the scenes, that are doing all the work to make us all look good. And it is such an honor to be able to recognize those individuals that don't seek the spotlight. All they want to do is work in the background. And the 2 men behind me are two of the most professional at that. You will never see them other than at a meeting, but you will always know that their work is being done behind the scenes, and you always are able to trust that. So I just want to give them as much of the credit as I can, because they deserve each and every bit of it. Thank you, guys.
All right, to you, Mr. Chairman, and you, Mr. Grand Marshal, and you, Mr. Veteran of the Year, we thank you for being here. We thank you for being a part of what happens here and the service that you have rendered and the service that you continue to render to this community, for it's an asset to all of us, and we just thank you. Where's my photographer? Oh, there he is. All right, if you all would just turn right around and face Will. I want to make sure we get that. All right? And you have the proclamations?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much, and we look forward to being in the parade.
Thank you, Mr.
We
Chairman.
look forward to the other veteran affairs that you have. Just make sure I've got the date and time right, all right? So I don't show up at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Me and Ms. Gail are best friends this time of year, sir.
All right? Sarge, you gonna make sure I have it? You got me, okay, all right. That's my Sarge over there. Thank you so much. And he works for us, you all. He's part of our engineering crew. Let me pause now before I go on, because I know, let me recognize our constitutional officers who here. I see our tax commissioner here. I see the sheriff is here. Did I miss anybody in the audience?
State rep.
Oh, yeah. All right, good. Y'all help me look now, because y'all know I get foggy. The state representative Jackson here. Didn't I see Judge Morris come in? Huh? Didn't I see him?
He's over in the
Oh, he's over here, okay. All right, thank you, Si. All right, let me pause and do that. At this time, let me call Ms. Howard to come to the podium. Ms. Howard is here to, as we recognize November 1st through the 30th, 2024, and as our Youth Hope Month, all right? And you should have the proclamation there before you, and then I'll turn the mic over to you and all who want to speak after then. The County of Chatham, Georgia, proclamation. Whereas November is Youth Homeless Outreach Prevention and Education Month, HOPE, formerly known as National Runaway Prevention Month, which began in 2001 following the landmark White House Conference on Exploit and Runaway Children, to eliminate the challenges faced by runaways and homeless youth that often remain invisible, with studies suggesting that each year nationally, over 4.2 million young people ages 13 to 25 endure some form of homelessness, including children in Chatham County. And whereas runaway youth are often expelled from their homes, have experienced adverse childhood experiences, and other forms of trauma, may be involved in foster care system, and underserved and marginalized, or too young to secure their own basic needs. Now therefore, I, Chester A. Ellis, Chairman, on behalf of the Chatham County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim November 2024 as the Youth Hope Month in Chatham County, Georgia, and urge all citizens to support the efforts to make a difference by raising awareness and promoting resources that often offers hope and support, advocate on behalf of and provide positive, safe, and empowering spaces for young people to thrive. In witness whereof, I here to set my hands and cause the seal of Chatham County, Georgia, to be affixed this first day of November 2024. The mic is yours.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. Before we get started, I would like to introduce our board members that are here today. Ms. Connie Reynolds, our Vice President, Hunter Hall, and Dr. Ann Linton. We really appreciate you having us come today and presenting this proclamation for us. November is a very big month for us, and today, actually, not only are we commencing Youth Hope Month, but it is also our anniversary. Officially today, Park Place, formerly known as Savannah Runaway Home, was incorporated. So today is our official 40th anniversary.
Nice.
All right.
Wow.
Thank you for allowing us to be here to not only shed a light on all of the challenges that come about with any homeless youth, but also to celebrate our 40th anniversary.
Thank you, and thank you all for all that you do to help us with our homes, because we know that we are experiencing a whole lot of that. And just to let the general public know that we also know that a lot of our youth in this category have mental issues that we have to face. And so having you come right after we just did the groundbreaking on a $15.5 million facility to help our youth and so it all comes together. And we just thank you for all the service that you do and all the work that you do. Any commissioner? All right?
Yeah.
Good?
Thank you.
All right? All right, thank you, ma'am. At this time, let me call Acting Chief Talbot, who's going to give us, oh yeah, I forgot about that. I'm glad you caught me, Will. Thank you, sir.
Assault.
No. Come on, Chief Talbot.
Actually, sir,
Chief Will?
Chief Haley is gonna start off with the presentation.
Okay. Now, is Chief gonna speak? Sheriff gonna speak?
Sheriff was present
All right.
with us.
Rob, y'all give me a hand mic. Now, I wanna make sure, see, he can't get up to the mic, so I wanna make sure we hear him.
He's got a pretty loud voice. I don't know. He might be.
That's all right. I want to make sure we got it. I want to make sure we cover the bases. So let's get them. Let's go. You can go ahead and start, and then he's gonna bring the portable mic.
All right, excellent.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman and the board. We just wanted to very quickly highlight National Child ID program that was, there was a kickoff press conference and meeting the other day spearheaded by Mayor Johnson from the city of Savannah. Myself and Assistant Chief Tolbert and the sheriff were invited to this press conference relative to the National Child ID program. This is a program that is sponsored by NOBLE, which is the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives, a very prestigious organization, and also in conjunction with the Pro Football Hall of Fame. We actually had a Hall of Famer there. I honestly can't remember his name. His name was Joe. You probably have his football card, I'm sure.
From 1980 to 85.
He got all the details.
He does, he does. However, we thought it was something we just wanted to highlight to the board and from a county perspective, support it. As Savannah kicks it off, we wanted to support it as well. Chief Tolbert was just gonna demonstrate or at least display the program. What it is a pamphlet that's given to parents in which they fill out all the demographics of their child or children, and they're able to put fingerprints and also collect DNA, but they keep it themselves. Some folks may be reluctant to provide, all that to law enforcement for, whatever their personal reasons may be, but they keep that in-house and in a safe place. So in the event, perhaps that one of their children end up missing, that we have that DNA particularly and information, so it may better facilitate finding the child if they're missing, or unfortunately if something nefarious was to happen, at least we have that that evidence to go on.
So this is a very simple process. It doesn't take that long for a parent to complete this form. You fill the information out on the form relative to your child, and in the packet, we will be issuing, the police department will be issuing these packets to any parent who is interested in receiving one. In the packet, you will receive this card, and you will receive the fingerprint sticky pad. And on the sticky pad, you simply place your finger. The parents will simply place their child's finger on the sticky pad. It's not sticky at all. However, once you place your finger in the proper position on the card, it will begin to display your fingerprints. It takes a minute before the prints show up, but the prints will show up. And you, the parent, maintain this card, and we're going to make sure that the parents understand how critical it is that you maintain this card. You do not give this card to the police officer unless an unfortunate situation occur where your child becomes missing. And if that child becomes missing, we will be asking for this card if you should happen to have it, so that we can enter this information to try to search for that child. Now, we also learned that, and we are very happy to hear that it's not just for children, because we have adults go missing as well. We're speaking about Alzheimer's and dementia individuals, and when they go missing, we're also out searching for them. And so these cards can be used for adults as well as for children, but it was designed specifically for the ages of 4 years old and 19-year-olds. You can use it on a toddler under 4 if you are able to get that toddler to hold still enough to put their prints on the card. But it's very important that you do this, and I want to re-emphasize, the police department do not maintain this card. You, the parent, maintain this card. We've already heard comments made relative, well, you know, the police just want to get a copy of our fingerprints. That is not it at all. We're not interested in that. We're only interested in trying to search for your child, to return your child back to you. So, Sheriff, did you want to say anything?
Yeah, to follow up on the Noble thing, I've been a member for over 10 years, and this is one of the biggest things I've seen them come out with. Also, Chief Talbot didn't tell you that in the corner of that, you can put a picture of your child or a picture of an artistic person that you're filling these out on. And again, we want to emphasize that we don't want it unless they go missing.
Right.
When they go missing, that is a very important thing. Height, weight, fingerprints, were they black, were they white, were they got blue eyes or brown eyes. All that's general information that a parent keeps until we become involved, and then we would take it from them and use it and move forward to try to find this child or this artistic adult. So I think it's one of the biggest things we're going to do. We're already ordering now is they're a four-letter word now, commissioners, F-R-E-E. It's a four-letter word.
They're free.
F-R-E-E. They're free. They don't cost the taxpayers any money, but we just want, I know the county police and the city police now want to get these out. I don't have much use for them, but I can get them to my employees because my employees have children. The county police's employees has children, and you never can tell when one of them's going missing. So, you know, I think it's a great thing to be able to come to your house and say, okay, you reported your child missing, and you hand us all this information. And that takes away probably 3, 4, 5 hours of trying to get all the information. So I suggest everybody, you know, get on the bandwagon, get this done, stick it in your portfolio at home. When something happens, pull it out and give it to the police.
And let me just say one more thing. Statistically, nationally, we were not able to pull the 2023 data, but nationally from 2022 data, we had over, in the United States, we had over 500,000 kids go missing.
Right.
I'm sorry, 500,000 reported go missing. That's kids and adults. So it's very, very important, and we hear it here in our own communities. Family members concerned about their loved ones being missing. So this is very serious to us, and we want you to take it very seriously as well. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, listen, I'm gonna make an executive decision here. All right, let me get her question first before y'all move. Go ahead, Ms. Osborne.
Hey, I just wanted to ask,
Yeah.
how do you search for the adults who have Alzheimer's?
That's, yeah.
Go ahead, Sheriff.
We have a program at the sheriff's office where we have ID bands put on a thing, and we can use the county chopper to help us locate these people and everything else. So we have something set up for the autistic people, and even the children, if they're not autistic and their parents want it, we'll emphasize and give them the thing. I think it's like $3 a month to have something like this done. So it's very good to have this. So 99.9% of the kids we found that goes missing, you know. We found one kid in the sewer over by Publix on White Bluff. But these things that we have to do it, and we work with the county police and the city police to maintain those things.
All right, did we get all your questions?
All right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I was going to ask, where could you get the IDs, or like, how do you distribute them to people?
Go ahead. Well, first and foremost, if you'd like to get with us afterwards, we can get you any number. I think we have, how many were in that box?
It's probably about 1,000.
1,000, so we could certainly disseminate those that request them personally. In addition to that, through community engagement exercises that we do, or put them in the hands of our patrol officers that are out there in their neighborhoods on any given day that may see a parent in their yard or kid, out playing, may stop, knock on the door and say, hey, I want to hand this to you as a resource to you. So there's a variety of ways in which we can do that.
So we have 1,000 on hand right now, but we have an order placed to get more. So we'll have them. If a parent wants them, we'll have them.
Thank you. Thank you for your question.
And we also like to stress the program, they hit upon it, but we're talking to families who have elderly members of your family, all right, who may have dementia or some form that may go missing. The sheriff and the ID thing we can trace, as well as what we have here, all right? We want to make sure that that's available, all right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
And it's great to see the sheriff back at work.
All right? Now, listen, I'm gonna make an executive decision, okay? Anybody who get mad with me, I'll take you up after, because I got the sheriff and them to help me. They're my bodyguards. No, don't worry, Sheriff, I know you got my back. I wanna hold tight right now with the Employee Service Award, all right? And I wanna go now to second readers, all right? If all of you will flip up your screen, let us go to second readers, and I'm doing this for a purpose. I'm looking at our time that we have, and I wanna get the judge in and out of here on time, all right? So now, let me read this, and then after I read this, then I'm gonna ask all members of Judge Gasson's family to come, and Judge Moss is here, they can come, and then we can carry this through, okay? Resolution of the Board of Commissioners of Chatham County to name, to name the Chatham County Courthouse located at 400 West Overthrock Avenue as the Judge Eugene H. Gaston Courthouse. Is there a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
All right.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by Commissioner Lockett, second by both Milton and Whiteley, all right, that we name the courthouse after Judge Eugene H. Gaston. Are you ready for the question? Any question, please cast your votes. We got the machine up? Oh, there it is, there it is. Commissioner Adams, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
All right.
I'm voting yes.
Let me see.
However, my light is not coming on
All right.
for this particular occasion.
Okay. And then, all right, I was waiting on your light to come. It's done. We got some gremlins in the system. Okay. Now, let me have Judge Gaston family to come to the podium. Judge Morris, you can come over here for me, please. Can we get Greer? Mm-hmm.
Marty needs to come up also.
Yeah, the rest of y'all come on here.
Marty, come up.
Bobby, back down. Come up to the mic. There you go. Representative Jackson, you and the rest of them sitting there, come on here. Come on here. Come on up. Come on up. Mayor, come on up. Oh, let me recognize the mayor who walked in. All right. Come on up. As you saw, it is our honor, it is our privilege that I won't say the new courthouse, all right? So we make distinction because the other courthouse is Tom Coleman. And so this one will be the Eugene H. Gaston, all right, courthouse. Now, while we are so happy to do this and to get this in place, I've got some homework, all right? We spoke yesterday, the manager and I, and I want you all to know now, I want you to work directly with the manager, okay? None of the rest of us, just working with the manager. But when we have ribbon cutting and open up the courthouse, we need that portrait to go up there, all right? And so I want you to work with him to get that portrait so we can have it done in time and in place, okay? We don't have all day, all right? Time is short, all right? So you all get with the manager so that when we open the courthouse and unveil, that people do the tours, we have that picture up there as well. All right. Now, you want to speak, Ms. Greer?
Chairman Ellis, Councilman Lockett, all members of the council. I'm Greer Gadsden Larned, and the eldest child of Judge Eugene and Dr. Ida Gadsden.
Hold on just a minute, Greer. Let him give you the hand mic. Okay. You're probably standing too far away from those other. There you go.
Okay.
I want him to hear you.
Good morning. Again,
Good morning.
I'm sorry. Chairman Ellis, Commissioner Lockett, the other commissioners, thank you very much for this honor. I'm Judge Gadsden's daughter, Greer Gadsden Larned. This is my brother, Jeffrey Eugene Gadsden. I just wanted to introduce everybody. This is his
Go right ahead.
son, Eugene Henson Gadsden II. This is, do we have, who else is up here? Your wife is up here? Jeffrey's
Don't sit
wife,
back there.
Gail.
Come here.
Come on up, Gail and Geneva.
Come on up here.
Gail is my sister-in-law, and Geneva is my niece, Gadsden. Along with me today, too, is my oldest friend. I'm actually her oldest friend. This is Dr. Dale Ford Grant. Her father, Bowles Ford, was the first black person elected to the city council. Martin Stevens, who has been a lifelong friend of our family and a dedicated partner. Mrs. Mercedes Wright Arnold, years and years and years of service to civil rights and to the Chatham County area. Mayor Edna Jackson, former Mayor Edna Jackson, now you are, don't let me mess up, the state representative. Thank you. I'm a little, okay. I'm so happy to see you here, Mayor. Thank you so much for all that you do for us in this city. You are actually my cousin, Judge. Did you know that? We are actually cousins through my mother's side of the family. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm so nervous. Please excuse me. Shirley James, I'm sorry. Mrs. Shirley Get James, everybody should know her. She's been a pillar in this community as well. And I want to thank them as well for being here with me. But this is an honor that I feel is well-deserved. He was a true gentleman in every sense of the word. And I know he would be so pleased for this honor, and I thank you so, so much for this day.
Thank you.
Does anybody else want to say anything?
Anybody among the crew? Come on, Jim.
Hurry up.
Good morning. I'll be brief, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. I'm Jeffrey Eugene Gadsden, son of the late Honorable Eugene Henson Gadsden. My father was born in 1912. And if we fast forward 22 years, while he was studying at Lincoln University, his ultimate goal was to go to medical school, but that was thwarted. But little did he know, 15 years later, he would be admitted to practice law in the state of North Carolina, and in 1954, he would be admitted to practice before the United States Supreme Court, alongside with one of his classmates from Lincoln, a gentleman by the name of Thurgood Marshall. My father ran for state senate in the early 60s, losing that race. I remember the death threats the warnings to stay away from the window. But he decided when he came to Savannah, he loved this community so much that he gave his all. And I vividly recall in 1979 when he was sworn in at the state capitol in Atlanta, Georgia, quote, "I neither sought or lobbied for this position. The only regret I have in life is that I was born too soon," close quote. And so with that said, if I had to liken that, I would invite all of you to, since I do have some clergy in the room, I would invite all of you to look at 2 Kings, 2nd chapter, 19th verse through the 25th verse, when Elijah, upon ascending to Jericho, asked for some salt. And he sprinkled it on the bad waters and the barren land. And I would say to you, that salt of the earth was in my father. It was stirred early in his life because of his Christian upbringing. And so most judges don't set out to have a perfect record. And correct me if I'm wrong, Judge, but I believe my father's legal decisions, none were ever overturned by the Court of Appeals of Georgia or the Supreme Court or a federal court. And on behalf of my family, thank you so much. God bless you.
Right. Any commissioner? Any commissioner? All right, come on.
Mr. Chairman, I want to just rise briefly in honor of the late Bobby Hill, the late Robbie Robinson, the late Clarence Martin, the late Bobby Clarence Mayfield, the late Carolyn Quindleman, the Mercy D. Wright, and of course, Mayor Edna Jackson. Well done, well done, well done. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Come on.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman and members of the County Commission, I am so excited. Y'all know I've talked to you about Judge Gaston. Judge Gaston, I've always talked to you. What you've done here today is just exciting. I'm waiting. I just want to say thank you. I have to call you. You're the chairman.
You know you can stick with any of them.
All right. But thank you. The mic went off.
No, it's all right. It's good.
I don't need it. But thank you so much. Because, and the other person that is living is Mercedes, right? Arnold. She's one of the living ones. I would not be standing here today had it not been for Judge Gaston, both Ford, because I was young. And they took me under their wings, and they made me who I am, particularly politically, but not only that showed me how to be that honest person that could work for the people of Savannah and Chatham County. But to you, you have done it. You have made that decision. So thank you to all of you. I had to say that today.
All right. Anyone else? Commissioners or family? All right, y'all stay right there. Come on, Judge.
Oh, I'm sorry, Judge.
That's quite all right.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman and to fellow commissioners, on behalf of the legal community of the Eastern Judicial Circuit, we want to say thank you so very much for this distinction. Thank you for allowing this community to be graced by the naming of this great trial facility on behalf of Judge Gaston, whose legal mind, whose legal pen etched opinions and decisions in this county that has affected a lot of individuals who are not in this particular building at the time, but we are grateful for all that he has done. We are grateful for the legacy that he has left, not only just for his family, not only just for the legal community, but for this community and for this state. I am so proud to be one of those individuals that assisted him in never being reversed by the Georgia Supreme Court and the Georgia Court of Appeals in serving as his legal assistant. And I stand here today to say to this commission and to this community and on behalf of the legal community that when we walk into that particular building to do the legal business of this community, that we will always be remembering the name Eugene Henderson Gaston. Thank you.
Thank you.
One correction, his name is Eugene Henson Gadsden. But let me just finally say, I knew Judge Gadsden as a daughter. And I want you to know, this was a man with a huge heart. He read to me every night as a child. I knew him before he went to law school. Obviously, he went to law school when I was 5. So he was always there for his children. He was very, very smart. He had a photographic memory. He loved his grandchildren. And I just want you to know that he was just a wonderful, decent, honest, great sense of humor, loving father and grandfather. Thank you. I had to say that.
Thank you.
I'm so choked up today.
That's all right. That's all right. Let me do this now. If you will turn around, Will is facing you. Jeff, come on and get towards, get to Greer, and then the rest of you will saddle up on the side of them so that he can get our portrait to go. You got yours? You got your picture? You got your picture? Okay. All right. Again, thank you all, and, oh, okay. Thank you all, and we appreciate you so much. And so we look forward now. The manager will get with you on the date. Let's wait. Let's give them a specific date. All right. The manager's gonna get with you all and give you all the specific date and time that we're going to have the ribbon cutting. Okay. All right. We're working through those. Judge will tell you. Judge Moss will tell you. We meet on a weekly basis now to clear up everything else that needs to be cleared up with that. Thank you so much. All right, we go to second reader number 2. The petitioner, Paul Washington, is requesting designated Southfield Cemetery located at Palm Drive / Chevis Road, a historic property designation, PIN number 11030E02007, HD 0424-000466. The CCHPC recommends approval with conditions. District 5. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move to pass this, and for the record, I'd like to state again that this is District 6.
It's District 6, not
Thank you,
District
Mr.
5. Okay. Is there a motion and a second? All right, that we approve the petition. Are you ready for the question? Please cast your votes. Commissioner Adams, how do you vote?
Yes.
All right, thank you, sir. Commissioner Lockett is outside, all right? Now, we got to travel back in time, not too far, but Mr. Manager, let me call upon you to go to the Employee Service Award.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. We're at the point in our agenda where we set aside time to recognize our valuable county employees on their years of service. So I'm going to ask our Human Resources Director to come to the podium as we recognize our county employees.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The employees that we're recognizing this morning have a total combined service of 250 hours of service with Chatham County.
Yes.
We congratulate you. 250 years, I'm sorry.
Not ours. Yeah.
It's not enough. But we thank you for your service and we congratulate you on this milestone. With 30 years of service, James Tillman. The following employees have 20 years of service with Chatham County. Miss Bridget Evans, with E911. Miss Shannon Anderson with E911. Mr. James Payne with mosquito control. Stephanie Jones with the Tax Commissioner's Office.
Yeah. I mean, we have zero control over it in here. It's on the, if it was on the Zoom laptop, I could have done something, but we had Zoom, so we couldn't do it.
With 15 years of service, we have Mr. Stephen Brown with Court Administration. The following employees have 10 years of service. Soncia Thomas with the Tax Commissioner's Office. Miss Consuela Jackson with the Tax Commissioner's Office. Hope Allen with the Tax Commissioner's Office.
Y'all need to move over to the middle. There you go, right there.
Also with 10 years of service, Mr. John Glover Jr. with engineering. Miss Maria Spears with the Finance Department. Oscar Henderson with Solid Waste. Mr. Jonathan Eady with the Board of Assessors. Kylie Shervington with the Fire Department. Kyle. The following employees have 5 years of service. Joseph Cooper with Juvenile Court. Corporal Christina Fisher with the Detention Center. Tara Grant with Parks and Recreation. Monisha Green with State Court. Corporal Paul Hanna with the Detention Center. Also with 5 years of service, Shannon Shepard with the Sheriff's Office. Akira Springsteen with Chatham 911. Melanie Whalen with Engineering. And last but not least, Miss Lily Williams with Juvenile Court. Thank you for your service.
To all our dedicated employees, from those of us here who sits on the commission, we want to thank you for the job you do. For your job makes our job much easier, and we give the orders, but you honestly do all the heavy lifting in your everyday job. So again, thank you for the job you do. Well done. All right, now we go to, we don't have any chairman's items or commissioner items. The item that's on the table, do we have to go through the motion?
Yes,
Or we just
ma'am.
leave it on the table? All right, that's gonna stay on the table. All right.
Good morning. How are you?
No, Kenny,
I'm
you
good.
have to
How are
mute
you?
you.
Good. I'm just on my praise and worship
Tell Commissioner Adams to mute his phone.
Yeah.
Mute something, because we
What'd
don't
you
need
say?
him.
I say I'm just on my live.
Y'all
the
mute
live
something.
watch with the praise and worship.
For some stuff get out that don't need
What's
to get
going
out.
on with you? Just Zooming my commission meeting this morning.
Oh, that's Kenny.
Yeah.
That's Kenny.
Tell them mute him from in
All
there.
right.
No, he can't hear.
Yeah, I'm here.
Mute your button, Kenny. All right, good. He got it. All right, we go to items for individual action. All right. To request board approval of the
Mr.
following
Chairman,
budget amendments and transfer.
Will you call on me first and let me amend the agenda real quick?
All right, you got to go. All right, okay, hold on a minute. All right, let me do this. Let me do this. Let me stop where I am. Let me have a motion to amend the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to handle number 5 of the action calendar right now.
All right, can I get a second?
Second.
Properly motion and second. Are you ready for the question? Please cast your votes. Commissioner Adams, how do you vote? All right, he'll come back later. All right, let us go to the action calendar. And the request is that we request board approval to accept a $375,000 building resiliency and infrastructure community BRIC grant from the Georgia Emergency Management Agency, GEMA, for the hardened drainage basin analysis and planning project in action. Approve a source for a supplemental management cost of $18,750 for project administration. Note, this local grant match is $93,750. And give me a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion for approval.
All right. Properly motion and second that it be approved. Ready for the question. Now, under question, we agreed bless you. We agreed in pre-meeting that Ms. Jackie Jackson's gonna give us an explanation, and then we'll come back to Commissioner Kicklighter for comment.
Yes, sir. I want to thank Jackie and the rest of the Chatham County staff and this commission for their vision and for going forward for this grant, and I thought it should be pulled off and shown to the public. This is major. This is just, I can't explain enough how major this right here is as far as drainage for the future of Chatham County, the growth area, West Chatham County. This is the Hardin Basin. This is looking at how to expand and meet the future needs of that canal. This drains from Bloomingdale through Pooler, all the way through South Bridge.
City of Savannah.
Down City of
Garden City,
Savannah.
yeah.
Garden, it's just massive. And this is the direction that I'm so proud to see staff's gone and got this grant, and that we're gonna, that we are about to approve the $93,000 match, because it's $500,000 towards major improvements, because we have to do this to meet the needs of the future. So thank you.
Absolutely, I appreciate that. Good morning, again, Jackie Jackson with the Resilience Program here at Chatham County. Definitely worked very closely with the engineering team, Suzanne Cooler's engineering department and her team, on considering what were some of these very important projects that we needed to look at for the entire Chatham County community. And as you mentioned, the Hardin Basin is over 11,000 acres, and this particular water basin covers 5 of our 9 jurisdictions. So, as you noted, definitely impacts the entire community for sure. And this particular grant is looking at modeling, but specifically looking towards the future build-out, as well as the previous build-out of this water basin, and looking for specific areas where we can put in implement mitigation measures, also looking at sea level rise components, all of these things that we're now being hit with day to day. And as noted, this is a federal grant, so under the Federal Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities, or BRIC program, is where we applied for. It took us a couple years to get the grant. It's a pretty arduous program. But we did get it, $375,000, and 75% of that is federally being matched, with a minimal amount being matched by the local community. So we are really looking forward to getting this project started and to seeing some strong outcomes from this, and it'll enable us to incorporate next steps, hard, solid next steps. Suzanne, did you want to add anything? Okay, sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very excited, thank you.
And now, Ms. Coolidge, the grant is up, we've gotten it, now the money is being transferred, and how soon will we start the work of it?
Well, actually, the work has already begun.
It's already begun?
Yes, staff has already started with it. We're getting together the scope and working through the processes that need to happen, being that it's federal dollars, and so we have already started.
Mm-hmm. You know I knew that, but I want to make that known to the public, is as we go forward, this is a part of the infrastructure that we're talking about as we build out, as Chatham County change, all right? For those folks who say we don't have a plan, you ought to know that this is part of the plan. But it takes a while to go through the federal process of getting those federal dollars in here. And we need those federal dollars, because if the federal dollars were not available, we'd have to raise taxes in order to do some of the things that we have to do. And so there is a plan for the entire infrastructure of the county, but it comes in layers, and we have to wait until the feds give our partners, as well as the state, all right? They're all involved in this, so I want to make sure we make that plain. That's why when Commissioner Kicklighter said we need to pull this out and talk about it, all right? Because this Hardin Canal, this Hardin Drainage Basin, and there are, correct me if I'm wrong now, because things seem to grow every time y'all talk to me. We started out with what, 43 basins?
Correct.
How many we got now?
We're
still at 43?
We're still at 43.
We still at 43? Okay. There are 43 basins, and what those basins are is waterways in which it connects to communities throughout this county. And so we have put our, through our resiliency program, we have put our foot forward into that, and funds are coming now. They'll start to roll off the table from the federal and the state level for us to implement the plan that we have. But what the citizens must know is that the plans we develop for future growth and for future development is already in action. All right, and I want to make sure, and that's what Commissioner Kicklighter wanted to kick out. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, I want the public to know that millions has already been spent on
Right.
the Hardin Canal. I mean,
Right.
all this rain that we've had, you would have been underwater pretty much everywhere. We've spent millions upon millions already. But this is the county looking ahead for the future growth, which is what a government should do, anticipating what's going to happen, and it's happening really quickly out there on the west side. So this is continuing to plan. And again, I know if your house gets 1 inch of water in it or anything, or your shed or anything floods, personally, it's a disaster. But I just want the public to understand, we have spent millions, or there would have been so much underwater on the west side that it would have been unbelievable, and that we're continuing to go that way because we realize that West Chatham's going to keep exploding with growth. And as your government, we can't stop the growth, but we can guide it and have the infrastructure in place to keep your quality of life as good as possible. So thank you all very much.
Thank you all for the work you do. Now let's carry through with the motion. All in favor, please signify by vote. Commissioner Adams, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. I'm waiting on, your light's not working?
It's not working.
Okay. Commissioner Lockett, vote yes. All right, and there it is. All right.
Commissioner, you can use my button over here if you want.
Okay. Well, we keep it there. All right, let us now. We have done the altering of the agenda. Let's go back now to the agenda. We go to items for individual action. All right. To request board approval of the following budget amendments and transfer fiscal year 2024 in the general fund. A, transfer funds within department budgets and appropriate $67,848 fund balance as listed in attachment 1. B, transfer $400,000 from sheriff's office salary to transfer out to capital improvement project fund. 2, in the street lighting fund, appropriate $29,500 fund balance as listed in attachment 1. 3, in the confiscated assets fund, appropriate $1,000 fund balance as listed in attachment 1. 4, in the restricted court fee fund, transfer funds within departmental budgets and appropriate $7,700 fund balance as listed in attachment 1. 5, in the special service district transfer fund within department budgets, appropriate $2,805 fund balance listed as attachment 1. 6, in the hotel motel fund, increase revenues and expenditures as listed in attachment 1. 7, in the emergency communication fund, transfer funds within department budget as listed in attachment 1. 8, in the capital improvement program, increase transfers in from the general fund, $400,000 to establish a project for detention center maintenance. 9, in the risk management fund, transfer funds within department balance and appropriate $69,302 fund balance as listed in attachment 1. In the sewer fund, transfer funds within department budget as listed in attachment 1. 11, in the solid waste fund, transfer funds within department balance budget as listed in attachment 1. 12, in the park garage fund, transfer funds within department budget as listed in attachment 1. 13, in the computer replacement fund, appropriate $1,044,468 fund balance as listed in attachment 1. 14, in the wellness fund, appropriate $694,340 fund balance as listed in attachment 1. Fiscal year 2025, in the general fund, transfer $9,000 in the municipal court balance fund from operation to salary. 2, in the multiple grant funds, increase increase revenue and expenditures, $2,362,492 for the One Georgia authorization grant. B, increased revenue and expenditures, $75,000 for the Georgia DNR Coastal Incentive Grant. Increased revenues and expenditures, $36,850 for the CJCC Work Readiness Enrichment Program. D, increased revenue and expenditures, $375,000 for the GEMA Building Resiliency Infrastructure Grant. In the sales tax, 3, fund transfer and amend projects budget as listed below. 5, in the risk management fund, transfer $25,600 from general admission operation budget to occupational safety temporary salary. Is there a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second? Second. Properly motion is second that the request be granted. Are you ready for the question? Any questions? All in favor, please cast your ballots. Please cast your votes, I'm sorry. Commissioner Adams, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Lockett, how do you vote?
Yes.
All right, sir, and then there is, all right? All right. 2, request board's consideration for a variance from the county noise control ordinance in connection with the commercial film permit to be held November the 20th through the 22nd at 1 Resort Drive, Western Savannah Golf and Spa Resort Dock area, owned by Chatham County, Savannah, Georgia, 31401. Petitioner Lori Wenders, DBA North Central Production, LLC, District 3. Is there a motion?
Move to.
Second.
Properly motion and second that the request for the noise variance be granted. Are you ready for the question? All right, please cast your votes. Commissioner Adams, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Lockett, how do you vote?
Yes.
All right, all votes are in, thank you. Now we go back to the action calendar. We have done the adjustments we need on the action calendar, so may I have a motion to accept the action calendar's entirety?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Properly motion and second that the action calendar be accepted in its entirety. Are ready for the question? Please signify by casting your votes. Commissioner Lockett?
Yes.
Commissioner Lockett votes yes. Commissioner Adams?
Yes.
Votes yes. All right, all votes are in. There is no first reader. Mr. Manager, we now come to your portion of the meeting that tells us about the informational items.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. In front of you, you should have a list of updates for your information. We got updates on the general election that's coming up next week. We have a list of summary of grants that starts on page 3. I ask that you pay close attention to that. We do a lot of grants and a lot we voted on. I just want you to have a list of a summary of those grants. And if you have any questions on anything there, we'd be happy to address those. We've also got some updates from the Parks and Recreation Department for your information. And also in front of you, you should have a flyer that reminds you about the Veterans Day celebration that we'll be hosting here in the Commission Chambers on Thursday, November 7th, and that starts at 2 p.m. So those items are there for your information. We've also got a update on our Hurricane Helene update response, and I'm going to ask that Director Jones and Director Wright come to the podium and provide that update.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Go ahead.
You good? Okay.
We're doing sidebars.
All right, all right, all right. Thank you all. You should have a package in front of you that gives a copy of the presentation, and I'm going to pull it up here. I need some help. I don't know, they put it on the desktop. Yeah, right there. you. Thank you, Robert. Okay. All right, good morning, everyone. So we have been asked to, William Wright, myself, have been asked to present information regarding an update on Hurricane Helene. I'm going to cover a lot of the FEMA-related issues, and Director Wright is going to cover the debris-related issues. So hopefully between the two of us, we'll be able to answer all of your questions. But should we not be able to do that, we will be available to answer any questions following the presentation. So Hurricane Helene, recovery operations in Chatham County. So as a recap, I presented this information to you at a previous meeting, but we were able to assess 124,569 facilities. These are personal properties or individual properties. Of those, 123,401 did not receive any damage. And you see the scale there on the screen, 756 affected but are habitable. 293 got minor damage, 108 major damage, and 11 of those properties were listed as destroyed. So power outages, Georgia Power officially says that Helene was the most destructive hurricane in the company's 140-year history. So that is significant. And with that destructive impact to Chatham County and also the state of Georgia, they were actually able to get all power, 99% of the power restored in Chatham County within a 7-day period, which is significant because in some cases they had to rebuild the entire grid for those areas because it was just totally destroyed and it wasn't worth repairing. They actually had to bring in additional power poles, additional line sets, and actually rebuild the grid in some of those areas. So that was done through the collaborative effort of a multitude of different partners coming in to assist Chatham County, and as well as supporting the rest of the state. So very significant issue there that I want to emphasize. Ice distribution, we were able to set up a point of distribution for ice. I know Commissioner Farrell had some questions about ice during the last pre-meeting last time. So I wanted to recap again the information that we were able to gather. This is a discrepancy from what I provided Commissioner Farrell last time. It is a slight decrease in what I provided you, sir. I think we'll probably see this go up and down based on when the data was collected. We'll ultimately get the final once we get the invoice from Ashbridge. But overall, roughly, we were able to serve over between 20 and 25,000 vehicles, and that averaged out to about 140 to 160,000 pounds of ice. And ultimately, it resulted in between $4.75 a bag to about $6 a bag. Again, all of that information is very fluid. It really depends on at what time the information was collected. So I'm providing you real-time information as I get it. But ultimately, once we get the invoice from the vendor, we'll be able to really narrow that down as to what we actually were able to distribute. So the funds associated with the ICE pod, a point of distribution is what we call it, it all is reimbursable through the federal government because it's part of our emergency response. FEMA assistance for Chatham County, the individual assistance declaration for Hurricane Helene came on October 1st. Our public assistance declaration for categories A and B, and I'll explain what that is in just a moment, came on October 1st, and then we got a major disaster declaration, which included a variety of other categories on October 2nd. And then FEMA brought in what's called DSA teams, or Disaster Survivor Assistance Teams, DSA. They were able to bring those teams in, and they brought in quite a few people to come in on October 5th. And these are the teams that actually went door to door, knocking on doors, talking to people face to face, asking if they needed any assistance, and then helping them get registered for FEMA assistance. Those DSA teams are still in Chatham County, much smaller scale, but we do still have them in Chatham County assisting. For FEMA assistance, I mentioned those categories. So Category A is all of our debris operations. Category B is our emergency protective measures. That's generally what we are doing in that first 30 days in order to respond to that emergency or that disaster event. Category C is any damages that we've had to roads and bridges. Category D, E, F, and G, you'll see the categories there: water control, public buildings, public utilities, and then any other parks and rec. And anything that doesn't fall in one of those other categories falls under Category B. In unincorporated county, we've seen sustained damages of about $12 million and $25 million across the county. So that does include our debris operations as well. So category A and B expenses, again, I mentioned are 100% reimbursable for the first 90 days. And the chairman had mentioned in the green room that we are trying to see if we can get that 90-day extended to 180 days. And that's just not for Chatham County, that's the entire state. But I'm glad that the chairman and the county manager were able to advocate that to the White House yesterday. For those who have not had an opportunity or the availability to apply for FEMA assistance, it is still available. We still have our Disaster Recovery Center open, and I'll talk about that in just a few minutes. But they can still apply for FEMA assistance, and this is not only for Helene, but it's also for Debbie. So they can apply online at disasterassistance.gov. The phone number to do that is 1-800-621-3362, or they can actually go to the DRC Disaster Recovery Center, and I'll give you some information about that. But it is at Savannah Tech. I'll explain what the hours are for that in just a few minutes. But that's those people, we're trying to reach everybody. Those people who are comfortable working online, they can do it through an online asset. Those who want to talk face-to-face, they can come to the DRC, or they can actually go and make the phone call and do it all remotely. Okay. It is very important, though. A lot of people show up at the DRC, or they start applying for FEMA assistance, and then they're surprised by the first question that's asked is, do you have insurance, and have you applied for insurance, your insurance claim? So that is very important. I want to make sure that everyone understands insurance is going to be first. So if you do have insurance, file your insurance claim, and then you can solicit reimbursement, or you can solicit financial assistance for any of those other expenses that your insurance carrier does not cover. So I mentioned Savannah Tech. They've been very gracious hosts for us. The star that you see on the screen there, that's where the actual DRC, the Disaster Recovery Center, is set up. White Bluff Road is over here on my right. It's to the far right of that screen. That front parking lot, that's on the northeast corner of the campus. And then the DRC is located in that building where you see the red star. So the DRC Disaster Recovery Center, it is open 7 days a week right now. Day one, we saw 47 individuals show up. On day two, we did send out a wireless emergency alert that went to all residents within Chatham County, and we saw 245 people show up to get service that day. Our highest serving day was actually the fourth day of operation. 251 individuals showed up at the DRC for assistance, and overall in that first week, the federal government, or FEMA, was able to serve just under 1,400 people in Chatham County. So they also have the capability to ensure that they are speaking a variety of different languages, as you see the bullet there. So they were providing language interpretation in English, Spanish, Vietnamese, Korean, French Creole, Mandarin Chinese, and also Portuguese. So approximately 32,500 applications in Chatham County have been received by FEMA, and this is specifically for Helene. This is a direct result of those DSA teams going out into the community, going door to door, as well as the work that is being done at the Disaster Recovery Center. So this is the third highest in the state of Georgia. So we had the third highest applicant participation rate in the state of Georgia. And so far, over $7.5 million has been distributed to our citizens right here in Chatham County from the federal government. For Tropical Storm Debbie, we've had about 3,400 applications for FEMA assistance, and just for Debbie, about $2 million in assistance has already been distributed to our citizens and your constituents. DSNAP, or Disaster Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, was also activated for Chatham County. We actually had 2 locations set up for people to be able to go and file for DSNAP benefits. DSNAP is for those individuals who don't necessarily, or who have not already, are receiving SNAP benefits. SNAP, is, as some of you know, is the old food stamp program. It's what they call SNAP now. And when a disaster happens, they offer what's called DSNAP.
So those people who aren't necessarily or who are not already in the SNAP program or the food stamp program, they can go through Disaster SNAP and be able to receive some benefits. So those benefits have already been released. I was not able to get a count of how many people were serviced through that program, but it is considerable because they did have 2 different locations set up. One was at the Civic Center, the other was at Armstrong Center, Georgia Southern, over off of 204 Abercorn. And they have already shut down operations. They serviced a lot of people from the 21st through the 24th. They started seeing the numbers dwindle down on the 25th and the 26th, so they decided to close up operation on 26th. That doesn't mean that they still cannot apply. They can still go through the federal government, through that federal assistance, as well as that 1-800 number in order to file for assistance through the DSNAP program. So it is still available. They're just not in person set up at these 2 locations. I know many of you have had some constituents inquire about debris removal in gated communities in private property. So I'm going to turn this over to Director Wright right now. He's going to talk about the debris operations throughout the county, and then I'll come back up and kind of wrap up where we are with federal assistance.
All right, let's make sure they don't have any questions about what you just presented.
Okay.
All right, Commissioner Whiteland.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for the update, Director Jones. My only question was regarding the alert that went out. I had a number of constituents who didn't like it. I personally think it was effective. It obviously was effective. Is there a way that they can change maybe the tone or something like that? I know when we talked about our after-action review for Debbie and Helene, getting information out to the mass public is a challenge. But it seems like that's a very surefire way. Almost everybody has a cell phone. Is there a way we can maybe use that for future reference, to get information out, but then in addition to that, maybe change the tone so it's not so scary?
Yeah, it is scary, and it is loud. And this is the first time that we've used that methodology in order to send information out. And we did so because we recognized that we were missing information distribution to some of those people during Hurricane Debbie or Tropical Storm Debbie. So we wanted to maximize that effort. That particular service, though, it's embedded within the phone, and you can't make any edits or any modifications to that service within the phone. Because it's intended to catch your attention.
Right.
It's not intended for people to just ignore it. So unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about that because it's actually phone specific. And it's also controlled by the federal government as well. So we did go through painstaking authorizations or confirmations to ensure that the message we sent out was compliant because it is regulated by the FCC. So we wanted to make sure that we weren't violating any FCC rules or regulations, and we decided to use that method. Again, it was the first time that we've used it. It surprised a lot of people because it is so loud. But as you see from the presentation, it was effective. It reached everyone in Chatham County. I can assure you of that. So those people who wanted federal assistance, they got notice that the DRC was open if they were actually in Chatham County. There's nothing I can do about the sound, though.
Yeah, I understand that. But I really hope that we use that in the future when, in the event that we have another disaster, to get information out, whether it's where relief opportunities are or any type of assistance. I think we should use that more often because it's not everybody has internet, and our phones blow up off the hook during these storms, and oftentimes we're kind of limited. So.
And I'm sure all of you got comments back on that. I certainly got a lot of feedback, good, bad, but I got a lot of feedback within the office. Our phones blew off the hook, wondering what was going on. But it was an effective way of getting information out, again, but it was just surprising to quite a few people.
Yes, sir. My last question was I think it was $7.5 million in disaster assistance that was applied. Is that just in Chatham County?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yep, just in Chatham. And $2 million for Debbie. So $9.5 million has already been distributed just in Chatham County to your constituents.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Any other? Any other? All right, let me ask you this before you leave. At the center at Savannah Tech.
Yes, sir.
All right. There was a report of them asking for people to give them a letter from Georgia Power. And I checked with the folks at Georgia Power. They didn't know anything about that. Have we cleared that up yet?
I am not familiar with that.
Right. Nobody is.
Yeah.
I've never heard of it.
But I can assure you, my staff are watching this, and they're
Yeah.
probably checking right now.
Okay.
So I'm going to defer the next part of this presentation to Director Wright, and when I come back up, I may have an answer for you. by then.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. I'm going to give you a kind of a brief update of where we are with our debris removal at this point in time. But before I do that, I wanted to kind of go over, the rules for private property debris removal and what gives us the right to go in there during a declared disaster. The debris, it must be disaster specific, quite naturally, and we also must have an ordinance demonstrating the legal authority. And the most important part here that is required by FEMA is that all right of entry agreements must be in place at the time of storm is in place, declared. If you don't have your right of entry agreements in place, then that debris in a private subdivision is going to be declared ineligible. And you won't, and so we can't go in there and pick that debris up if we don't have right of entry agreements in place at the beginning. So Director Jones did a great job in making sure last year that we had we have 26 private right of entry agreements in place right now. And as you're aware, we provide dry trash service on private roads and in gated communities, and that's governed by our solid waste management practice and procedures in our ordinance. We provide dry trash service to all single-family residential homes in the unincorporated county to include weekly yard waste and monthly bulk waste. We also have a provision in our ordinance for post-storm and disaster recovery cleanup. And Chapter 21-405 includes provision for curbside collections by the county on privately owned streets. And as you're aware, we also pay the single-family homes in Chatham County pay the $85 dry trash fee, which includes private and gated communities.
He's not getting it to move, Ron. Mouse. Mike.
It's not moving at all. Now it's moving. Okay. All right. So this here that you see on the screen now is a picture of our Bush Road site. That's where we have one of our debris sites. That's another aerial view of our Bush Road location of where we're processing our debris that we're taking. And that's another picture of Bush Road as well. This is Sally Mood debris management site. That's an aerial view. We've collected a lot of debris. There's a lot of debris out there that we've collected, and we still have a lot more that's in the right of way that we still need to collect. But we're doing a good job in getting this debris. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. It may not be a great question, but just a thought. So I suppose none of these lumber companies or anybody ever come in here and retrieve. I mean, because I've seen pieces of huge trees, and I guess they don't come and want any of this?
No, ma'am. We haven't had anybody to come and ask us
That's a shame,
for any of that
because
debris.
that's a lot of wood.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably what would have to happen. Individuals will probably have to come and get it for their fireplace, but remember this now, in the industry. If that tree, if it snaps or if it's cut and if it breaks in a certain way, it talks about, what they talked to me about was it interrupts the grain of the wood, and it can't be used for certain things because of the grain of the wood being interrupted. All right, that's the best way I can explain it.
I understand, that's why I said it might not be a very good question, but it just seems, it seems sad that,
a lot of
that some
fire.
of that can't be reused, that's all.
There's a lot of debris out there.
Cut you up and get it in there.
That's another picture.
I'm thinking about anywhere, I mean, that we could get some relief and somebody could use some of that. I mean, if you look at that picture, that's a lot of wood.
All right, go ahead.
And that's another picture here of Sally Mood. You see the truck there with the trailer attached to it, just to show you how much yard waste is out there. So it's significant.
A lot of mines in there.
So what we're looking at now, as far as the estimate time of completion, the initial estimate was 500,000 cubic yards, but I asked them last week to give me a revised estimate, and they came up with 385,000 cubic yards of debris that needs to be removed from the right-of-way. To date, we've moved approximately 106,075 cubic yards of debris so far we've removed from the right-of-way. That's approximately 28% of the total estimated debris of the 385,000. They gave us an estimated completion date of December the 20th, but that's subject to change. So this here is just a little chart to show you how much we've collected, which is 106,675, and that's only 28%. So the uncollected remains is about 72%, about 325 cubic yards of debris remaining. That's through yesterday. Yes, through Wednesday? Through Wednesday? Yeah, that's through, this is through Wednesday. So there's been, we're on like the 27th or 28th day, because this was done on Wednesday, of debris cleanup, and we have, based on the time frame of 90 days, we have about 64 days remaining to make the 90-day threshold. And finally, the municipalities, all the municipalities are actively engaged in debris management operations throughout Chatham County as a whole. All municipalities have activated various debris contractors. I know our contractor is operating and helping out other municipalities in our local area as well. So our debris contractors, they're working 7 days a week, 10 to 12-hour days every day. So they are out there and they are engaged. And additionally, we have our public works staff who every day we're out there, we're doing regular route pickup in addition to what the debris contractor is doing. So we're out there, we're engaged, and we're doing everything that we can to pick up the debris that's out there. And at this time, I'll defer back to Director Jones. If I don't have any questions, there's no questions.
Questions from? All right, good. Come on.
So to further emphasize Director Wright's report, all of his information is specific to unincorporated county. I'd like to provide you some information about the remainder of the county. So he had mentioned that debris operations was happening in all municipalities, and that is the case. However, you will see currently in Bloomingdale, Tybee Island, and Vernonburg, they have stopped all of their debris operations. They handled all of their debris internally with their own public works crews. But right now, Garden City, Pooler, Port Wentworth, Savannah, Thunderbolt, and of course unincorporated, we are still continuing with debris operations. I also wanted to give you an idea about how this compared to Hurricane Matthew from 2016. So you'll see the volumes there on the right-hand side. In the unincorporated, we are estimating right now 385,000 cubic yards, whereas Matthew, we had a 755,000 cubic yards of debris collected. So overall, the total throughout the county, again, I don't have numbers for Bloomingdale, Tybee, and Vernonburg because those were such a small amount. They handled those internally. But roughly 720,000 cubic yards throughout the county versus Matthew was 1.278. So just wanted to give you a little bit of insight as to that. Also, to kind of reiterate the volume that we're talking about, for unincorporated county, 385,000 cubic yards is roughly about 29,615 truckloads. So think of your standard dump truck, and 29,615 of those carrying debris. Versus all of county, 720,000 is roughly about 385 dump truck loads full of debris. That's going somewhere in Chatham County. So it is significant. Want to continue on with other, outside of debris, with other support that is occurring throughout the county. So United Way of the Coastal Empire, they have a disaster relief fund, and this is something that we put in place after Hurricane Irma, and we are very, very fortunate to be able to rely on the United Way for setting up that disaster relief fund. It gives your citizens, your constituents, just one more level of protection, one more level of financial assistance so that they can go and ensure that they can get back to a new normal with their home. So 211 has been taking phone calls, providing financial assistance, and a lot of the percentages are being reserved for long-term recovery. As a county, and this is nationwide, a county is generally very, very good at response and that initial recovery. It's the long-term recovery that people really need most of the help. They need that help initially in order to get over the shock of a disaster or an emergency situation. But after all of that shock wears down or wears out, now they've got long-term issues that we are trying to put, or we do have things in place in order to help them with those long-term recovery issues, repairing their homes, reestablishing their life. So that's where the rubber meets the road when it really comes down to how people are going to recover, how people are going to get back to a new norm. So I really want to thank the United Way for supporting us in that. We still have crisis cleanup. I've mentioned crisis cleanup numerous times. We've done numerous social media distributions about crisis cleanup. This is still a service that is available to homeowners if their properties have not been cleaned up yet. They can apply or send some information to crisis cleanup to apply for some assistance by dialing 1-844-965-1386. We are also arranging a community cleanup day. We're working through the Coastal Empire Disaster Recovery Committee. That too is another committee that we established after Hurricane Irma to assist in ensuring that we are taking a holistic approach at the needs throughout the community from an individual and being able to use a variety of different resources in order to try funding needs for that individual. So the Coastal Empire Disaster Recovery Committee, they are actively engaged with the distribution of those funds through the United Way. It's done through case management, it's done through an allocations table, and then it's also done through volunteer service. So there is a community-wide cleanup day that is occurring on November 9th. Targeted outreach to those homeowners and renters who have already registered with crisis cleanup. And as we get further into really kicking this off, we'll be distributing more information most likely next week regarding that. I want to reiterate once again the key dates. I did this previously. The key dates in the response, I want to expand that into the recovery. So October 1st, FEMA PA was declared for Category A and Category B in emergency protective measures. October 5th, the DSA teams, Disaster Assistance Survivor teams, they came in and started working door to door throughout all of Chatham County, not just unincorporated. On the 11th, the Small Business Administration came in. They opened up a business recovery center. On the 17th, the Deputy Small Business Administrator, the actual Deputy Administrator for the SBA came in, visited Savannah, and we had a meeting with him. DSNAP came in, set up 2 locations I mentioned previously at the Civic Center and also out at Georgia Southern, the Armstrong Center. They did that on the 21st. The 22nd, the DRC opened up, and it remains open today. On October 9th, we've got that community-wide cleanup day that's coming online. November 23rd will be the last day for residents to register for FEMA assistance for Tropical Storm Debbie. Okay, so it is all time delineated. They have a certain amount of days in order to apply for assistance. So for Debbie, November 23rd is the day, last day to register for that. And then on November 29th, it will be the last day to register for FEMA assistance for Hurricane Helene. So we really want to encourage all the commissioners to reach out to your constituents and ensure they are aware of these 2 key dates. We'll be doing a lot of social media as well as some other mediums by which we can distribute information, making sure that we get this information out because we don't want anyone to miss either of these deadlines. As far as long-term recovery goes, this is a graphic that kind of shows you visually where we are in our recovery. So everything that's over on the left, this is what we do during hurricane season. We prepare, then the disaster happens. We go into short-term recovery or we go into a response short-term recovery, and we slowly transition into intermediate recovery and long-term recovery. So the blue star that you see right there in the center of the screen kind of gives you a visual representation as to where we are from the response and recovery effort for hurricanes Helene and Tropical Storm Debbie. I'd be remiss if I didn't let you know that we're not out of hurricane season yet. So we do have 2 more. We do have 2 more storms that we are actively watching. They're both down in the Caribbean. So the storm that you see there in red has a 70% chance of development over the next 5 to 7 days, and the system that you see in yellow has a 10% chance of development over the next 5 to 7 days. So we'll keep watching those systems, and if there is any potential impact to Chatham County, we will make sure that we are communicating that out. Mr. Chairman, going back to your question regarding the need for a Georgia Power letter, we do have somebody staffing the DRC every day, including weekends. So one of my staff members reached out and asked the DRC site manager. What they are asking for is you got to prove a residency. So you got to show a utility bill. It can be a Georgia Power bill. It can be any other type of utility bill, but you've got to show residency at that particular location. They did mention that if you had a Georgia Power letter that said you lost power, it would help with your application, but it's not required.
Oh, okay.
So I hope that
Then
helps.
let's make that clear, because I don't understand why. Here's my not understanding. To me, it seems like Georgia Power could provide them with the information that, let's say, 124 Bull Street or the Bull Street area was out of power from day whatever 1 to day 5 or whatever. It seems to me, and if you prove you're a resident, you're in that area, or you in that area where there's no power, that should be sufficient. I mean, I don't know. It just doesn't seem to me like he would ask folks if they lost power, because Georgia Power tells us where the power is off, and we get those maps with those things on it. So I don't understand why they can't use that.
Well, they're following national standards,
Yeah,
of
I understand
course,
it comes from
and
FEMA.
It has to be applied to
Right,
any
it
type of
comes from
disaster.
FEMA.
However, we can reach out to see if that is something that they would accept, because when you have a county that was 95% without power, it's kind of a no-brainer. But we can reach out to see if they would accept just a global or a letter that covers the entirety of the county.
Okay.
Yes.
And those people who call me, I'll give you their contact information so that if somebody can explain it to them better than I can. But
be glad to.
I knew nothing about a letter.
Yeah.
All right, I had never heard of the letter. And when I talked to folks at Georgia Power who were in the decision making, they didn't know anything about the letter either.
Yeah.
All right, so they'll research it and they're getting back with me, and so you covered. So we'll make sure we get those folks who are out there at Savannah Tech and applied for that get them the information they need so that they could get coverage.
Yes, sir.
With what's going on.
Well, them not having a letter is not going to exclude them from coverage. It just helps to bolster their application.
Okay, well.
But we can see if they can accept the
Yeah,
global
because
letter.
what she said to me was, one of them said to me was, the lady told her, the reason she did not qualify is because she didn't have a letter from Georgia Power. And I didn't see what that made. That doesn't make too much, and
Yes,
she didn't know who the person was, so what I advised her to do is go back out there and see if you can find that person and go to them to talk about the letter, because nobody I talked to that we are in touch with, that we've been working with throughout this whole process, knew anything about a letter from Georgia Power.
If you would share her contact information
Sure, I
with
get
me,
it. I'll
we'll
make sure
reach
I
out
give it to
directly.
you, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so we, all right, anybody have any other questions now for Director Jones and those concerning this? Listen, we just want to thank you all for doing what you do, all right, and the preparations, and you heard Commissioner Kicklighter said it, preparations that were made, especially with the Hardin Canal, caused us to keep getting from even deeper in flood, because if it had not been done beforehand, over in Bradley Point, see, it could have been worse over there, but because of the work we were already doing and the work we will continue to do over in the Hardin Canal and what's that other one?
Pipe
no.
makers.
Huh?
Pipe makers.
Pipe makers, yeah, that's the one. All right, over in that pipe maker area that we working with, that will take us into the enclave area, all right, with the flooding and stuff. So we just need folks to know that we have obtained funding to help us with flooding throughout the whole Chatham County. But it takes us time, and then we have to meet the regulations that are put there, all right? Because if FEMA's paying for it, they've got one set of regulation. If transportation is paying for it, they got another. If we go into Homeland, it's got another. And so we wind up trying to balance out all those regulations, and they don't, if the money is available to us, we have applied for it, we are on the list, but we have to meet those regulations, and these are not things that's gonna turn over overnight, all right? It's a long-term plan that we have in place, but we can be proud here in Chatham County that the plan we submitted to the federal government on all 9 different, I guess you call them committees, that, you know, cause it goes from the congressional budget, but it goes to one of the service renders. And we're in 9 of them, and we're getting funds from all, but it takes time, and we've got to meet regularly. In fact, Tara and I played, we played Get It Right yesterday with federal monies for railroad elimination that we were in, and we got to get those reports and things in, all right? But I wanted to ask now, and it's concerning, when we were in DC, remember I got that call, and I don't bring my phone in here, that's why I can't do. We got that email from the senators in those offices about those senior citizens and disabled folks who could not clean up their own debris, and they go into that we can put them into the disaster recovery. Terry, do you have that? That's why I asked you to come in. Do you have that on your phone?
I'll have to pull it up, sir.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, take time. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because we brought it up in the meeting we had in DC, and before we could get back to the hotel, we had an answer saying that our crisis cleanup
Yes, sir.
could actually go on to private property and get the debris
That's correct.
for senior citizens and disabled folk.
That's
all
correct.
right. It's not for everybody. If you can clean up your own, you have to clean up your own. But those who cannot, all right, because you know a lot of this stuff. We've got some widows and some widowers who they couldn't move that stuff. You know, couldn't get that tree and stuff out of their yard or that debris that might have come from someplace else in their yard. So I just want to make sure that the public knows that there is a way to get in touch with. If you pull that number back up with the crisis folks who we have set up for that, all right. And we do have authorization from FEMA for them to use for disabled folks and elderly, all right?
Well,
So
sir,
they-
crisis cleanup is a free service.
Right.
So there's
Right.
no expense incurred with that
Right.
at all. But
Right.
it does, by the homeowner asking for assistance, it allows them to go onto
go
their
on the
property
property,
in order to clean their property up.
I just want the public to know we've got that clearance.
Yes, sir.
All right? And the other thing about that too is, on yesterday, as we met with the senior advisor to the president, we have asked them to ask FEMA to give us an extension of our days, because we're not gonna be through with this in 90 days. Brother Wright had on his where we got 64 days left, as I remember from the slide. See, huh?
72 days left.
Right, but it's not gonna be done in 90 days. That's the point we're trying to make, and so that request has already gone forward from yesterday. The manager and I were in the meeting with them from the White House, and we're trying to get that extended, all right? So let's still work on the time frame we have. In case we don't get it, we have to do as much as we can, as often as we can, but folks can see how much debris we have, because we have mounds of it, all right, and tons of it. It's just not a small thing, all right? And so let's hope that these others out here that we're tracking now go someplace else. Don't come this way. Let us get into December. Any other question from any other commissioner? Commissioner Go? All right, that's all?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. One last thing, I'm going to ask that Chief Hadley come to the microphone, to the podium, to give you a brief update on our election security. We've had a number of questions surrounding that, and I just want to give you a brief update on what we're planning for, what we've done for early voting and what we got planned for election day.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Kegler. Yeah, it started actually several months ago. Mr. Kegler had came to me. He was very committed to providing election security, not only for early voting, but election day. Certainly, obviously, the national election can raise tensions, and people have, certain fears and anxiety around voting and whatnot. And we just wanted to make sure in Chatham County that our residents felt very comfortable going to the polls, whether it be early voting or whether it be on election day, that they felt safe and secure in exercising their constitutional rights. So with that said, myself, Assistant Chief Terry Shoup, and Captain Kason from the Sheriff's Office got together and coordinated a staffing plan for all the early voting sites in Chatham County on every single day, in addition to assisting with the ballot transports at the end of the day to make sure that the poll workers felt safe in doing so. We were able to staff those not only with on-duty personnel when we were able, but also with off-duty officers on their days off or those that signed up. So I believe that we got every poll covered, every slot covered. There might have been one exception here or there of something that we couldn't account for. I don't believe we've had any major issues during the early voting cycle. It's gone, fairly smooth. There's some, certain days, the first couple days were very, very busy, as you could predict, and unbeknownst to me and in talking to Billy Wooten, the last 2 days, meaning yesterday and today, are also very busy as well. We received a tentative count from Sabrina German this morning that there's upwards of 84,000 early voters that have participated in Chatham County. I think that's an unbelievable figure. It'd probably be more by the end of the day, but having that many voters at our locations without really any major incident or frustration, I think is remarkable. So, and then on election day, we'll have all hands on deck. So Chatham County PD will have everyone working that day to assist with the election day activities. We've also coordinated with the other law enforcement agencies within the other municipalities, City of Savannah, Tybee, Bloomingdale, Pooler, and so forth. Their officers will be at their polling locations that exist within their municipal boundaries. The Chatham County Police Department and Chatham County Sheriff's Office will cover the Chatham County polling locations, and the City of Savannah will cover the City of Savannah polling locations. We will have at some locations static presence, meaning someone will be there full-time, while others will be intermittent. They'll kind of float from one location to the next. We just didn't have enough officers to cover every single location, as you can imagine, but we're doing our best. So again, hopefully our presence brings a level of comfort to those who may have apprehensions, and we look forward to a successful election day. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you
All right, any questions for Chief?
I just
Yes,
have
go.
one. Thanks for that, Chief. One question that I have, so what efforts were made to ensure that all of the police officers are aware of the rules as it relates to polling locations? You know, you're not supposed to wear, there's not supposed to be campaigning within a certain period,
Sure.
a certain distance, or can't wear campaign attire into the polling location. Can you kind of talk about that?
Yes, sir. So Billy Wooten had provided us with those rules and laws, and we put them in not only did we put them out via email to all the officers, actually to the whole department, but specifically to the officers that were going to work the polls. And I believe some even printed them off and laminated them, so they had them like kind of like a pocket. So, you know, that's not something that we obviously work with every single day. So we wanted to make sure that we had the best information. So Billy Wooten provided that information. All the officers had it in their hands, and they were to refer to that if they had any questions.
Okay, in those, one thing that I know has taken place over the last few elections is our Spanish-speaking neighbors needing help to translate. And that sometimes becomes a point of contention. I'm glad it hasn't happened during early voting. But with that being the case, is there any discussion about or any type of information being shared with officers in coordination with the poll managers on that type of stuff?
I can't say there is, honestly. I mean, I'm going to sit here and be honest. I would imagine that the poll managers at the individual polls, if a translation or a language barrier exists, that they have certain protocols that they may follow. They may have translators there on site, or they may have a resource that they tap into immediately to make sure that the person that has the language barrier is able to exercise their right.
Right.
Yeah. And just to follow up on that, Chief is correct. The poll manager is in charge of the poll, and we're there to assist them. So any issues we've got with people needing translation services, or if there's any question, the chief said that, you know, we've got the rules, but if there's a question, we're asking the officers to make sure they confer with the poll manager.
Okay, thank you.
And the poll managers, as I understand it, are working with Pastor Rodriguez and
Alfonso, yeah.
Yeah, to have translators who can help folks who don't speak English well. I know and I think, but again, that goes to the poll manager. That's not a thing that the police officers would be doing. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
More of a comment, but
Sure.
The security is phenomenal. I haven't heard a single issue about security, but I really want to take this opportunity to commend the Board of Elections and Billy Wooten and all his crew. I've got so many positive reports about how professionally run and courteous and helpful and quick the early voting was. I don't know if there was any lines anywhere. I mean, people were getting in, getting out. There's plenty of voting machines. So I just want to commend the Elections Board and all their preparation for this early voting, that it's the best run early voting sequence I've seen that I can remember. So, and I've been voting for many decades. So I just want to say that they're doing an outstanding job, and I appreciate it and hope they continue right on through Election Day.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, I also want to echo Commissioner Farrell's comments. They got with us early on, and we saw the need. We put in extra security, and they ensured the chairman that they will have adequate machines, adequate personnel. So both the election board and the board of registers, they saw the need, and you know, we haven't had any issues, had any problems. People have been saying they're going in at all the polls, they're going in, they're voting, and everything's smooth. We don't have the line, so it's a testament to both of those boards that we've had a smooth election season.
Yeah, and we started meeting with them right after November. Well, last year started planning for primary and for general election. election, and we asked them to kind of give us their thoughts of what they needed. And so those things were put in place, all right, so that we talked about the security part of it and making sure things were secured, and got directions from the Secretary of State's office and the rest of them before they both, the Board of Election and the Board of Registers put things into place. So it was a plan that's laid out, and I'm just glad to see it's going well, all right? And hopefully we can get through next Tuesday, but I know the work don't stop next Tuesday. It might be 10 days or 20 days after then before it's up. But I want to thank you and your staff for taking on the challenge and meeting where we are, what we needed to do. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do want to commend Chief Hadley for his work that he's continued to do even prior to all of this. And he knows in the trenches with the Chatham County Board of Elections, it gets contentious and so I think that leads to my question about the staff and their safety on the night of being sequestered, that kind of thing, taking precaution and kind of protecting them from the general public who sometimes becomes invasive in their wanting to be a part of the process, because it is an open, transparent process and they are supposed to be able to observe, but there are rules to that observation. And so I've been at the Board of Elections and taken phone calls and gotten threats. It's like, stop counting, keep counting. You know, it depends on what the interest is for that particular election. And I think what people don't realize is all eyes are on Georgia in particular, but Chatham County uniquely gets so much attention, even from media. We'll be managing media outlets from all over.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so it's not, I think it's important that the general public fully understands the scale and the scope of what you'll be doing for this period of time, so.
Yes, ma'am, appreciate it. And also the poll workers, I mean, all of them are, or most of them are volunteers. And they do a lot of great work. They do the best that they can. And the polls that I've been in, they have worked really hard, and it's been rather efficient. And it's a lot of hard work that goes into it. And Billy and Sabrina as well, they work really, really hard. So it's been a team effort, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to provide a safe election.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other? Yeah, I just want to say I'm glad that you all were able to sit down and plan it, all right, and you develop a plan, and now you're working that plan, and we see that it is working, and the security and the safety of all those folks who have to be involved is paramount to what we're doing. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Manager? All right, we do have a need to go into executive session. May I have a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Is that a second?
Second.
Properly motion and second that we recess to executive session for litigation, acquisition, and personnel. All right? You have the motion already. Cast your votes. Commissioner Lockett, how do you vote?
Yes.
All right, Commissioner Adams, how do you vote? Commissioner Adams? All right, we got 5, so we there. All right. He's locked in, he's frozen. Yeah.